Our reading for today comes from 1 Samuel chapter 25. It is the story of a woman named Abigail, her husband Nabal, and young David before he was king. It's a longer story, so feel free to sit down. Then David moved down to the wilderness of Moab. There was a wealthy man from Moab who owned property near the town of Carmel. He had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats, and it was sheep shearing time. This man's name was Nabal, and his wife, Abigail. She was a sensible and beautiful woman. But Nabal, a descendant of Caleb, was crude, mean in all of his dealings. When David heard that Nabal was shearing his sheep, he sent 10 of his young men to Carmel with this message for Nabal: "Peace and prosperity to you, your family, and everything you own. I am told that it is sheep shearing time. While your shepherds stayed among us near Carmel, we never harmed them, and nothing was ever stolen from them. Ask your own men, and they will tell you this is true." So David said in his message, "Would you be kind to us, since we have come at a time of celebration? Please share any provisions you might have on hand with us and with your friend." David's young men gave this message to Nabal in David's name, and they waited for a reply. "Who is this fellow David?" Nabal sneered to the young men. "Who does this sort of thing? Who is this son of Jesse think he is? There are lots of servants these days who run away from their masters. Should I take my bread and my water and my meat that I've slaughtered and give it to the band of outlaws who comes from who knows where?" So David's young men returned and told him what Nabal had said. "Get your swords," was David's reply as he strapped on his own. And 400 men started off with David, and 200 remained behind to guard their equipment. Meanwhile, one of Nabal's servants went to Abigail, Nabal's wife, and told her, "David sent messengers from the wilderness to greet our master, but he screamed insults at them. These men have been very good to us, and we never suffered any harm from them. Nothing was stolen from us the whole time they were with us. In fact, day and night, they were like a wall of protection to us and the sheep. You need to know this and figure out what to do, but there's going to be trouble for our master and his whole family. He is so ill-tempered that no one can even talk to him." Abigail wasted no time. She quickly gathered 200 loaves of bread, 2 wineskins full of wine, 5 sheep that had been slaughtered, and nearly a bushel of roasted grain, 100 clusters of raisins, 200 fig cakes, and she packed them on donkeys and said to her servants, "Go on ahead, I will follow you shortly." But she didn't tell her husband, Nabal, what she was doing. As she was riding her donkey into a mountain ravine, she saw David and his men coming toward her. And David had just been saying, "A lot of good it did to help this fellow. We protected his flocks in the wilderness, and nothing he owned was lost or stolen, but he has repaid me evil for good. May God strike me and kill me if one man of his household is still alive tomorrow morning." When Abigail saw David, she quickly got off her donkey and bowed low before him. She fell to his feet and said, "I accept all blame in this matter, my lord. Please listen to what I have to say. I know Nabal is a wicked and ill-tempered man. Please don't pay any attention to him. He is a fool, just as his name suggests. I never even saw the young men you sent. Now, my lord, as surely as the Lord lives and you yourself live, since the Lord has kept you from murdering and taking vengeance into your own hands, let all of your enemies and those who try to harm you be as cursed as Nabal is. And here's a present that I, your servant, have brought to you and your young men. Please forgive me if I have offended you in any way. The Lord will surely reward you with a lasting dynasty, for you are fighting the Lord's battles, and you have not done wrong throughout your entire life. Even when you are chased by those who seek to kill you, your life is safe in the care of the Lord your God, secure in his treasure pouch. The lives of your enemies will disappear like stones shot from a sling. When the Lord has done all he promised and has made you leader of Israel, don't let this be a blemish on your record. Then your conscience won't have to bear this staggering burden of needless bloodshed and vengeance. And when the Lord has done these great things for you, please remember me, your servant. David replied to Abigail, "Praise the Lord, the God of Israel, who has sent you to meet me this day. Thank God for your good sense. Bless you for keeping me from murder, from carrying out vengeance with my own hands. For I swear by the Lord, the God of Israel, who has kept me from hurting you, that if you had not hurried out to meet me, not one of Nabal's men would still be alive tomorrow morning." And David accepted her present and told her, "Return home in peace. I have heard what you have said. We will not kill your husband." The word of God, the word of life.
Thanks be to God.
Today we encounter the story of Abigail. Abigail, let's just do a little background. This story takes place before David is king, when he's on the run in the desert. David, who as a little boy, right before his time in his story of Goliath, when he encounters Goliath, many of us remember that story, he is anointed to be the next king of Israel, but God had already promised Saul that Saul would grow old. And so David has to wait. He has to wait several decades before he will become king, and he gets to grow up. Eventually word gets out, and Saul tries to kill David, not once, not twice, but about 27 times. Eventually David has to flee to the desert, and some of his friends, his faithful companions, they surround him and they go with him. While he's in the desert, all of those people who are been victimized by injustice by the king tend to surround themselves. They come to David for protection. And so there are a lot of widows and orphans that David is caring for as he lives in these caves in the desert. And you can imagine the pressure that he has as he's responsible for feeding them. David also provides service for some of the local farmers and some of the people who have their own businesses there. And one of them is Nabal, who's a very, very wealthy man. Now it's festival time. And so David goes and sends his men and asks for some food, which is very customary to do. You should share during these big festivals from your table to those people around you. And you hear the description of just how much food Nabal has. In fact, when Abigail intervenes and takes food to give to David, she takes 250 loaves of bread, and she takes 100 clusters of raisins. She kills 5 sheep. She takes all this enormous food, and Nabal doesn't even know or recognize that the food is gone. That's how much food and wealth that Nabal has. Nabal, instead of, as we read the story, helping out David, he insults him. Now, a good thing to remember here or to note is that everybody knows who David really is. So when Nabal says, "Who who is this man? He actually says, who is this man, son of Jesse? He knows who David is. He actually knows who David's father is. Everybody knows that David's going to be the king, and he's on the run from Saul, the present king. Even Abigail, as she's pleading with David, reminds him. She does that line in there, if you caught it, remember about the sling? She throws that in. When she's trying to appease David, she reminds him of all the faithful things that God has done. Even though you're on the run, and your enemies have tried to kill you, God saved you many miraculous times. Remember that? She, in her wisdom, as she's trying to plead with David not to kill all of those innocent people, she reminds David. She knows the story of David. She knows, and she refers to David one day when you become king. So everybody knows who David is. There are no strangers in this story. Nabal does a horrible thing. He insults David. He mocks David. He uses his words to hurt. And as a result, what does David do? Does he show wisdom? Does he show patience? No. He takes an oath that he's going to kill not just Nabal, but every male in his household. David is livid, and his anger is getting the best of him. And he grabs his sword, as so many people still do today, when they feel affronted, when they feel offended, when the world works against them, or even when someone gossips. We want to grab our figurative swords, and we want to crush those people who hurt us. And along comes Abigail, and Abigail intervenes. She becomes a peacemaker. She reminds David of who she is. She reminds David of the incredible things that God has promised him. She reminds David of all the ways that God has protected David so far. And she reminds David of what he's really going to do. She basically says to him, you don't want your kingship to have this blood stain on it. You don't want this sin. What is it going to do to you? What kind of a leader is this actually going to make you one day when you become king, when you murder not just Nabal, but all of these innocent people, just because he said some mocking words to you? And in this story, David is able to see wisdom. He's able to see what he's about to do. And he's grateful. And he blesses Abigail. And it openly acknowledges, because of Abigail's faith and bravery, he is stopped from doing a horrible deed. So what do we learn from this story? What are these lessons of faith? Because each week this summer we've been looking at these great women of the Bible and learning about their faith and encountering what is it that we can take home, or what can we learn about our faith from them. And so there are a couple lessons that we learn. And the first one is this: Abigail demonstrates her faith by doing the right thing regardless of the cost to herself. Abigail does the right thing regardless of the cost. She is going out and going to confront a very powerful, privileged male who is wealthy, who has 600 men that are following him, plus countless of other people, who has a sword, who's famous for having killed over 10,000 soldiers in battle. She's going to confront him. A man with murderous intent who has made a vow. May God strike me down if I leave one male in his household alive. That's a big vow. That's a strong vow. She confronts him, and she's not thinking of herself. She has no promise that she's going to survive this encounter. She has no reason to believe she's going to survive this encounter with David. Nothing has taught her that she will live through this. But she's doing this because she has to do something, because too many innocent people are going to be hurt because of this war that's going on between her husband and David. This war of two prideful men, and in their arrogance, that don't care about other people, but just their own vanity. Abigail is acting out on faith by doing the right thing. She's not thinking about the cost to herself. She's just thinking about what happens if she doesn't act, about all the people that will be hurt. So that's the first lesson we learned. The second lesson is this: Abigail is faithful even when God does not rescue her from her circumstances. There are two big mistakes that we make about faith, especially when we are in difficult circumstances. And note this: Abigail is in a horrible relationship. She's a beautiful, young, incredibly wise, incredibly articulate woman who's very talented, and she's stuck married to a fat, gluttonous, rich, horrible, mean-spirited, ugly, mouthing off man. And you can imagine, and he's dumb too, he's foolish. And you can imagine what kind of a life she has to do and live as he lords it over her when she's by far the more intelligent person in this relationship. She's by far the more gifted person in this relationship. And yet she is oppressed and suppressed and put down. Anybody who lives with this man would feel that way. She is living in an awful marriage. And when David comes, and David makes this vow, this is her chance to escape. She could say, "Ooh, David, yeah, go ahead. Nabal's right over there. You kill all those guys." She could be free. She inherits the land. She gets to pick her next husband. She could have been thinking of herself and said, this was her escape. She could be out of here. She could be done with me. But she doesn't do that. Nor does she have a promise that her circumstances are going to change if she just does the right thing. There's no promise there that's going to happen. And this is the problem that we have when we are in difficult situations. There are two mistakes we make about our faith. The first one is that we sit around and wait till God rescues us, and then we act. We think, okay, God, my life is horrible. As soon as you straighten it out, then I'm going to be faithful. Then I'm going to do the right thing. Then I will act in faith. But God, you got to rescue me first, right? But no, God doesn't rescue Abigail. She acts in faith because it's the right thing to do before God rescues her with no promise that God's going to do it. And that's the second mistake. The first mistake is that people wait around for God to rescue them before they'll act in faith. The second is they think that if they act in faith, then they're going to get a reward that basically says God's going to give them the life they dreamed of. And there's no promise for Abigail that this is going to happen. Yes, in the end, Nabal is going to die, and she's going to marry David, and, well, maybe that's not the greatest thing for her. People tend to think that she gets to live that happily ever after. I doubt that highly. She has to deal with David's other 99 wives, and David's adulterous affairs, and David's murdering spirit that just doesn't get quenched by this event. So she doesn't necessarily get happily ever after. So the first mistake is that we think God is going to rescue us first, and then we act in faith. And the second mistake is that we think if we act in faith, then God promises that he'll rescue us. And Abigail shows us that neither of those are true. What she does is that she acts in faith, regardless of the circumstances, and not thinking about the cost to herself. She's just thinking about what happens if she refuses to act in faith, to do the right thing. And the third thing we learn from this is that in exercising her faith, Abigail becomes a peacemaker, a tool of unprecedented value in God's hands. That's incredible. She becomes a tool of unprecedented value. There is a ripple effect, an incredible amount of fruit that comes from this one faithful act of bravery that she does. David's kingship is saved. David would have put a stain and bloodied his kingship. Many more people would have died innocently because people wouldn't have followed David as king because he would have demonstrated just what kind of a king he was going to be, the evil one. She stops him from doing the evil thing and David going down a path of corruption that saves David's kingship, that allows him to grow and become the leader that the nation of Israel desperately needed. So she didn't just save all the innocent men in David's household. She saved future generations, future people, because of this act of faith. Now, regardless of the cost to herself, or not waiting around for God to rescue her from her circumstances. She becomes an unprecedented, powerful tool in God's hand because she's willing to act out her faith. She takes what she believes, what she knows to be true, and she's going to act on it. And that's an incredible faith, demonstration of faith. The gospel story for today that is being read as part of the lectionary that Craig read for us is a parable that many of us are familiar with. It's the parable of the sower, where Jesus is talking and he explains that God sows and he sows his seeds, and there's 4 different kinds of soil. There's a really hard soil, and then there's the soil that gets thorns and everything else, and there's one of the 4 soils is good soil, where there's a tremendous amount of fruit. And we make a mistake when we look at this parable, and we think that we ask ourselves the question, okay, what kind of soil is my heart? The problem is that this parable is said for the purpose of not us, not the crowds, but for the purpose of the disciples. It was said in such a way that only the disciples could hear it, because it was a message for the disciple, not for the people. And the disciples, the message, as Jesus explains it to them, because they're so thick they don't get it, is that you're the sowers. You're supposed to sow like God does. You're supposed to sow liberally, just throw out the seed. The seed, the analogy is that we are like the disciples, and we sow the gospel of Christ. And we're supposed to throw it out liberally. And note, God expects only a 1 in 4 return on his investment. Only 1 out of 4 hearts is actually going to receive the soil, the fruit, the seed, which is the gospel, is going to receive the seed and bear fruit. And that's okay. God's going to still throw that seed, throw that gospel out everywhere. And Jesus is telling the disciples, you need to sow like God does. You need to take this gospel, this incredible, powerful thing you have, and you need to spread it everywhere. It doesn't matter if people accept it or reject it. It doesn't matter if their hearts are filled with stone or cold or in contempt of God. Sow it anyway, because that's what God does. Plant it in their hearts. And Abigail, in her faith, illustrates Jesus' point so incredibly well, because she goes out to David. In fact, let me read this. I wrote this earlier. Abigail is a great story to illustrate this principle. She risks everything to convince one person that he is heading away from God. That one person is a hothead, powerful, privileged male who already has vowed to kill innocent people. Why would he listen to her in urging peace and forgiveness? We need to be like Abigail. We need to sow this gospel of reconciliation and this gospel of peace and forgiveness like Abigail, recklessly and liberally, casting it upon even the coldest and darkest of hearts, because in God's hands, our faithful actions become a dangerous tool that can bring about incredible fruit. Amen? Amen. Our takeaways for today. First one is, Abigail demonstrates her faith by doing the right thing regardless of the cost to herself. The second one, Abigail is faithful even when God does not rescue her from her circumstances. And the last one, in exercising her faith, Abigail becomes a peacemaker. A tool of unprecedented value in God's hands. And we need to be tools like that. We need to sow, even in the hardest of circumstances, even to the coldest-hearted of people. Because we never know what God's going to do. We never know how people are going to listen. And we can never, ever underestimate the countless number of innocent people that we can save just by being faithful sowers. Let's stand.